It's Christina from Card Making Magic. These are what we're going to make today, and these are ribbon roses. You can make them any size you want. You can make them from lace, net, that's satin ribbon. This is organza ribbon. This is seam binding. You can add pearls into the centre of the flowers, or little gemstones, or you can add a flower. Then you can add them to a matching ribbon bow, or you can just put them on an arrangement of leaves. The choice is yours. Now the last thing you want to do is use creased up ribbons. So the easiest thing to do is, if you have a set of hair straighteners, you're just going to run the ribbon through the straighteners and get rid of the creases. And that works with ordinary ribbon, satin ribbon. This is seam binding. It just gives a nicer effect once the ribbon is straight. Now it also works with organza, but I would be very careful to start with. Start on the very end to make sure it doesn't burn your ribbon, and then just very quickly run your organza ribbon through your straighteners, and there you have nice straight ribbons to start making your flowers. So we now have some nice straight ribbon to work with, and the first thing we're going to do is tie a knot in the end, just a loose knot in the end. And if you look, it looks as if it has a centre in it once you've tied it. So that's the bit that you're going to start rolling inwards. So if you hang on to the tail and just roll it inwards, so that it starts to roll around that centrepiece. And then I use a glue gun. You can stitch it if you wish, it's up to you, but if you're going to use a glue gun, mind you don't burn your fingers. And all you're going to do is put a spot of glue on there and hold it in place. And then if you roll it again, you're just going to create that centrepiece. And again, a little spot of glue will just hold that in place. Now once you're happy with your centrepiece, you're going to roll or curl the rest of the ribbon. So you're just going to curl it over so that the top part comes underneath. So you're going to curl it like so. And then if you bring it round, you can now glue that little piece to the bottom of that ribbon. Just a little spot of glue will hold that in place. Now once that's set, it only takes a second or two, you're going to curl the ribbon again. And again, you're going to add a spot of glue and glue those two pieces together. And you're going to continue doing that until you get your flower to the size that you want it. So once you get your flower to the size that you want it, you make your final curl. You're just going to glue that little piece down, and then you're going to cut off the last piece of ribbon. Cut it off, and all you're going to do is just tuck that down and glue it in place. And then you can glue that down in place on top, and then with your scissors you're just going to trim the tail off at the back. And that just neatens the back up. Now if you want to, you can add a punch circle to the back, and that will neaten the back up completely. But I don't tend to do that. I just glue this directly onto my card. because the last thing I want it to do is fall off the glue, the circle, and have the circle just stuck to the card. Now there's the front of the flower, and what you can do now is you can add another flower into the centre if you wish, or you can, what I like to do is shorten the legs on a brad. Just cut the legs off, add a little bit of glue to that, to the back of it, and then just push that into the centre of the flower. There we go. And I have enough ribbon left to add to the front of the card and to make a bow if I want to. And to make sure that they stay all nice and neat and tidy, I use an empty egg carton, and all I do is pop the flowers in there and keep them safe until I'm ready to add them to my cards. So these are the elements that I need to make the card, and what I've done is I've cut myself a mat of the orange card, and I've layered it up with some coordinating paper, and all I've done is fold my base card, my A4 card, in half, and I'm using it with the fold at the top. So that's the first mat. Then I've cut a smaller one and I've layered that up with some matching paper, and I'm going to use that in the top right corner. I've cut myself a little fancy piece to go underneath, and those are just going to be laid flat on the card. Now all I've done is laid my mats and my layers together just on the orange card, not onto the base card yet. And now I need to decide where I'm going to put the ribbon, and I want the ribbon to run across the lower part of the card. So on the back I've added some double-sided tape, and I'm just going to wrap the ribbon around this layer in the position that I want it, and that will just keep the ribbon in place. And then another little piece of double-sided tape will stop it from falling off. So I'm not going to take the backing off that just yet. Now that will sit on my card there. Now the next thing to add is your topper, and I've just watercoloured the rabbit with his carrot, mounted him up onto some grey card, and I'm going to add that with some foam tape. And I'm just going to sit him on the front of the card in the position that I want him to be. So we'll pop him there. Now the next thing to add is my sentiment, and again I've made my sentiment, I've added it to some foam tape, but this time I've put 2 layers of foam tape because I want it to sit higher than the image. So I'm just going to pop that there, and then I can add all this now to my card because there's nothing else to be wrapped around it. That can just sit on the card front. So there we've got everything glued to the base card. I'm just going to pop the bow in place, and again I'm just using the glue gun. So I'm going to sit the bow round about there, and on top of it I'm going to add the flower. We'll get that the right way around so it doesn't look untidy. And there we have the card with the rabbit on it. Now the rabbit is from Just Ink Lined. The sentiment's in place, and there's your card ready to send. So there we have the finished card. 2 different themes completely. This one is made from satin ribbon with the rabbit. Very nice novelty card. And this one is a little bit more sophisticated. The rose is made from organza ribbon, and I've added the hat pin.